In this tutorial, you are going to be learning how to cut and sew a palazzo pant like the one you can see on the screen. This palazzo pant has a band, it has a zipper fly, two side pockets, and it also has a permanent gator line in front. I'm very positive that the method I'm going to be teaching in this tutorial will definitely be a game changer to your pants making. So make sure that you watch this tutorial to the end, and don't also forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. These are the measurements that I'm going to be using to draft out this palazzo pants. My waist is 30, hip 42, and the hip length is 9. My thigh is 26, crouch length is 11.5, and the full length is 42. Now let me show you how I got about this crouch length. So the popular way to measure your crouch is by sitting on a flat surface and taking your measurement from the waist down to the flat surface. But you can also use this method, which is your hip divided by 4 plus 1 inch for a palazzo pant. So that is going to give me 10.5 plus 1, and that's 11.5. So if you are working on a normal pants that is not a palazzo pants, you can just maintain your hip divided by 4. Now let's get into the pattern drafting. So from the top of my pattern paper like this, I'm going to be drawing a straight line, and that line is going to be my waistline, so that from there I will take the other vertical measurements. The next line I will draw is my hip line at 9 inches. So to this part I will be adding a 1.5 inch band. So I placed 1.5 on that waistline, then I came down to measure 9 inches, which is the hip line. I hope you get that. So I'll draw a straight line across as well. Then the next line will be the crouch length measurement. Still taking note of that 1.5 inches away from the waistline, I'll come down to 11.5 inches and measure the crouch line as well. Then also draw a straight line across. So this is the hip and this is the crouch line. Then the next line that I'm going to draw here will be my thigh line. So for this, I'm just going to come down from the crouch line by 3 inches and draw a straight line across. And I'm going to be labeling it the thigh. So the total length of this pattern paper is going to be serving as the full length, because my pant is even going to be longer than the length of the pattern paper. Now on the hip line, I'll place my hip measurements divided by 4. And I will also add 1 inch for ease, because I don't want this pant to be too fitted. So I place that on the hip line, and I will also place that same hip divided by 4 plus 1 on the waistline and connect those lines together. I'm also going to be extending that line to the crouch line like this. So once I have this, I will now take my crouch extension. So I'll place my tape on that crouch line and divide whatever I have there by 4. As you can see, I'm just using my tape to divide it into 4. So whatever I have now, I'm going to place it from this straight line like this and mark it. Then on this corner where the straight line meets with the crouch line like this, I'll come out with my tape by 1 inch and connect with a curve to meet the hip line. So if you don't have a curve like this, you can also use your free hand as well. Just connect a curve to create the crouch curve. The next step now is to place the dart on the waistline. So in order to place the dart, I'm just going to be dividing my bust span measurement by 2. Mine is 8. That divided by 2 is going to give me 4 inches. So I'll place that 4 inches like that from the waist, from the middle of the waist. Then I'll come down by about 4.5 inches. That's how long I want the dart to be. Then I'll create a straight line like this. Then on the waist, on that straight line, I'll come out on each side by 1/2 inch, then connect it down to meet the 4.5 inches length. So that is the dart for the front. Now I'm going to be placing my waist measurement divided by 4 on the waistline. So 30 divided by 4 is going to give me 7.5. I'll mark that. Then I will mark whatever I have in between the darts, which is 1 inch. I will add it to that, and I'm also going to be adding 1/2 inch for ease on that waistline. So once I've done that, I will use my curved drill in order to connect from the waistline down to meet the hip line like this. So the next thing now is to place my tape on this crouch line as it is like this from the extension down to the back. Then I will divide it into two in order to get the midpoint of my pant. So I have about 15 inches in total on this crouch line, and then when I divide it into two I have 7.5. so that 7.5 inches I'm going to place it as well on the thigh from the side, and I'll also place it all around from the thigh area down to the hem of the pants, to where the pattern paper ended. So this is just like to get the midpoint of the pants and allow for even distribution of measurement when we are like measuring the sides. Actually, a lot of people don't do this when they are making a palazzo pants, but I just feel like it's very necessary when you are making any type of pants, so that you will have that very equal distribution of measurement, and the pants will not be swaying from one side to another when you are done sewing. So I joined the lines together, so that's the midpoint of my pant now. And then on the tie line, my tie measurement is 26 inches when I measure it all around, but I'm going to be adding 2 extra inches to that to make it 28 for ease, because this is a palazzo pant and I need it to be very free. So I'm going to be dividing that 28 into 2, and whatever I have I'm going to divide it into 2 again. So 28 into 2 will give me 14 inches. Then when I get that 14 inches, I will divide that 14 inches into 2, which is going to give me 7 inches. So I'll place 7 inches on one side of the tie like this and mark it, and another 7 inches on the other side of the tie like this and mark it. Now I'm going to connect from the crouch down to the tie, and from the hip down to that 7 inches I measured on the tie as well. So can you see that our pant is already giving shape? So what I have on the tie line is what I'm still going to replicate on the other lines. So I'll measure 7 inches here, 7 inches there. I'll also do the same thing here and measure it on that side, just to make sure that everything is equal. So at this point, if you don't want your palazzo pants to be too big, you want it to be a little slimmer at the down parts, you have to reduce this measurement a little bit. In my own case, I just want everything to be the same measurement from the tie down. That is why I'm maintaining this tie measurement all the way around. So if you want yours to be smaller, you just have to reduce what you have on the tie on the other parts of the pants, especially at the hem line, so that it's going to be a little bit smaller down. But just make sure that whatever measurement you are giving to one side is what you are giving to the other side, so that everything will be equal. So on the waistline, I came down by a quarter of an inch like this, and I'm just going to blend that into the side of the waist. So this is just to reduce gaping on the waist area when fixing the band. It's totally optional, you might not do it. Then another thing that I'm going to be adding to this front pattern is the zipper fly. So from the waistline, I just measured 2 inches away, and I'm going to connect that together like this. Then I will just blend it into the hip line with a cuff like this. So this is what I'm going to be using as my zip fly. Now it's time to cut out this pattern. So just watch the way I'm going to cut this out. Now I'm going to be using this front pattern to cut the back out. So I will have to fold in this zipper fly like this. So just fold your zipper fly in so that you will have a straight crouch cuff area like that. So I'm just labeling this pattern the front pattern. Then I'm going to place this on another piece of pattern paper that is wider. So I'll make sure that there is space at the top area and also at the both sides. So the space I have at the top area is about 2 inches, and I also have spaces at the both sides. Now the first thing I will do is to come in by 1.5 inch on the waistline. Then from that 1.5 inch, I will come up by another 1.5 inch like this. in order to raise the hip of the back. So if you are in a bigger size, you can come up by 2 inches, or if you are smaller, you can come up by 1 inch, but for me 1.5 inches okay. So I'll place my tape on the front waist like this and measure what I have. I have 9 inches, so I will now place that 9 inches slantly from the 1.5 inch I came up by down to the waist area. So can you see? This is to make sure that both the front and the back waist will be the same length. So I'm going to be extending the crouch of my back by 2 inches from the front one. So I just went ahead to extend it like that and drew a straight line. Then I will curve it like this into the hip line as well. So I'm going to be opening this up, then I'm just going to connect it together to form the back crouch. So I've successfully drawn out the back crouch. Now it's time to work on the sides. So on the hip of the back, I'm going to be coming out by 1 inch. Normally the hip of the back is always bigger than that of the front, so I'm just extending mine by 1 inch. Then I'll connect from the waist to meet it. Then the next thing is to determine how I want the leg of the pants of the back to be. For me, I will just come down by about 7 inches from the tie line of the front and connect that 1 inch extension I came out by on the hip to meet it. This is because I basically just want my pant leg to be the same at the down part. I don't want it to be bigger at the back. I hope you understand that. So I'm just connecting from that hip area to meet that new point that I marked. So this is actually optional. You can just use that 1 inch all the way down to the hem of the pants, but I want mine to just be like this. Then I'll also do the same thing on this side. I'll come down by 7 inches, mark it, then I'll connect from the crouch extension to meet that place. So I'm just marking like 1.5 inch on this side to make everything blend in. As you can see, I'm trying to see which of the curve will be okay, so I'm using this other curve like this. So I'm just blending it in. So alternatively, you can just use that 1.5 inch all the way down instead of curving it in like the way I'm doing it like this. I'm doing this because I want the pants to be the same size at the down part. I hope you understand. So I'll go ahead and cut the back pattern out as well. So when it comes to drafting of pants, you can try different methods and just see the one that works for you. Okay, now this is the back pattern. I'll have to place my dart as well. So I'm measuring 4 inches as well from the middle part like this. Then I'll measure how long I want the dart to be, which is 5 inches for the back. I'm using 5 inches length for the back. Then on the waistline, I came out by ½ inch on both sides, then I connected it. So you see that the back dart is not as straight as the front. So I'm just taking off the pins, and this is how the front and the back pattern is looking like. So I'm going to be going ahead to use these patterns to cut out on my main fabric. Now I've placed this pattern on the main fabric like this. I'm going to pin it all the way around. Then before I cut it out, I'm going to be just adding ½ inch allowance all the way around, so that allowance will be the joining allowance. I also have to add to the full length of this pant because the pattern was not as long as my full length, so I added about 2 inches extra allowance at the full length as well, because it is better that your pant is too long than for it to now be short. I hope you understand that. So I added 2 inches extra allowance to the full length so that I can use about 1 inch to hold it, and the other length is going to make it very, very long, just to be on a safer side and make sure that the pants is not jumping at the end of the day. So I'm just cutting out the patterns. It's only on the zipper fly area that I didn't bother to add ½ inch allowance, but on every side I added ½ inch allowance. Then I'll go ahead and notch the that area and also where the zipper allowance is starting. And then I will do the same thing to the back as well. I added to the full length and also added extra 2 inches allowance to the full length, to the normal full length, and have an inch allowance all the way around for joining. Very important. Now at this point, my loves, this tutorial will be needed to be completed in another part because this one is getting too long, and to make your learning experience easier, I have to split it into another part. So make sure you stay tuned for the sewing tutorial. I'll be linking it in this tutorial once I drop it. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Bye for now.